For years, the Kansas City Chiefs built their dynasty around one central philosophy: invest heavily in the passing game and treat the running back position as interchangeable. As long as Patrick Mahomes was under center and the offensive system remained explosive, the team believed it could find productive runners without committing major financial resources. That philosophy worked for a long time. During the Mahomes era, Kansas City rarely spent big money at running back. Instead, the front office relied on late draft picks, short-term veteran deals, and inexpensive rotational backs to keep the ground game functional while the passing attack carried the offense. The approach reflected a broader trend across the NFL. Teams increasingly believed elite quarterback play could compensate for a lack of star power in the backfield. Okay. But this offseason, the Chiefs did something different. When free agency opened, Kansas City made one of the most surprising moves of the entire market by signing Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III to a 3-year deal worth up to $45 million, including $28.7 million guaranteed. It was a clear signal that the organization sees Walker as more than just another backfield contributor. They see him as a potential centerpiece capable of adding a new dimension to an already dangerous offense. And when you examine what Walker accomplished at the end of last season, the move begins to make a lot of sense. Walker's postseason run with the Seattle Seahawks turned him into one of the most talked about players in football. Running backs rarely dominate playoff narratives in the modern pass-heavy NFL, but Walker's performances forced everyone to take notice. In the divisional round against the San Francisco 49ers, he delivered a statement performance, breaking tackles, accelerating through narrow running lanes, and consistently falling forward for extra yards. Walker rushed for over 100 yards and scored 3 touchdowns. That game alone demonstrated his ability to take control of high-pressure moments. Then came the biggest stage of all. In the Super Bowl, Walker carried the ball 27 times for 135 yards, controlling the tempo of the game and repeatedly extending drives when Seattle needed him most. By the end of the night, he had earned Super Bowl MVP honors, becoming the first running back to receive that award since Terrell Davis nearly 3 decades earlier. For a position that has often been devalued in recent years, that moment reminded the league just how powerful an elite running back can be when everything is on the line. Yet despite Walker's postseason heroics, the Seahawks made a surprising decision. Rather than placing the franchise tag on their star running back or committing to a long-term extension, Seattle chose to let him enter free agency. The team reportedly hesitated at the price required to retain him, a reflection of the difficult financial decisions many organizations face when evaluating running backs approaching their second contracts. Running back contracts have become one of the most debated topics in the NFL. Teams recognize the value of elite production at the position, but they also worry about the physical toll the role takes on players. Running backs absorb constant contact, and history has shown that many begin to decline earlier than players at other positions. Seattle ultimately decided the financial risk was too high. Kansas City, however, saw an opportunity. For the Chiefs, adding Walker represents a strategic shift, not a complete abandonment of their previous philosophy, but an evolution of it. The offense has always been built around Mahomes' ability to create explosive plays through the air. But in recent seasons, opposing defenses have increasingly adjusted their strategies to slow down Kansas City's passing attack. Defenses began dropping deeper into coverage, limiting the vertical routes that once defined the Chiefs' offense. Safeties played further back, forcing Kansas City to rely on shorter passes and sustained drives rather than quick strike touchdowns. Walker has the potential to punish exactly that type of defensive approach. With a true workhorse running back in the backfield, the Chiefs now have the ability to attack defenses that commit extra resources to pass coverage. When safeties stay deep and defensive backs focus on receivers, Walker can exploit the lighter boxes created near the line of scrimmage and looks to pack. That dynamic can completely change how defenses approach Kansas City. Instead of choosing between defending the pass or the run, opponents may find themselves struggling to contain both. If they commit additional defenders to stop Walker, Mahomes regains the one-on-one matchups downfield that made Kansas City so dangerous during its early championship runs. In many ways, Walker gives the Chiefs something they haven't consistently had during the Mahomes era: a runner capable of taking over a game without relying on the passing attack. And Walker isn't just a traditional power back. His running style blends physicality with explosive acceleration. He has the ability to squeeze through narrow gaps between defenders and then burst into open space once he reaches the second level. That combination makes him especially dangerous in Kansas City's offensive system, which often creates opportunities through creative blocking schemes and misdirection. The Chiefs' coaching staff also values versatility, and Walker brings that as well. While he is best known for his rushing ability, he has proven capable of contributing in the passing game. Over the course of his career, he has caught more than 130 passes for over 1,000 receiving yards. That skill set allows him to remain on the field in nearly every situation, eliminating the need for predictable substitutions that defenses can exploit. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of this signing is how it could impact the overall identity of the Chiefs' offense. For years, Kansas City has been associated with highlight reel passing plays, deep throws, and explosive aerial attacks. Walker's presence introduces a new element: the ability to dictate the pace of games through physical rushing. That could become especially valuable during playoff football, where cold weather, aggressive defenses, and high-pressure moments often favor teams capable of controlling the clock. The Chiefs know this better than most. Several of their toughest postseason battles have come against teams that relied heavily on the run game to slow down Kansas City's offense. By adding Walker, the Chiefs may now have the ability to employ that same strategy themselves when needed. Of course, the move also carries risks. Running backs are notoriously difficult to project long-term, and investing nearly $30 million in guaranteed money represents a significant commitment for a position that can decline quickly due to injuries or wear and tear. Walker has already dealt with several injuries earlier in his career. Although he managed to stay healthy during the season that led to his Super Bowl MVP performance, durability will remain an important factor as Kansas City evaluates the long-term success of the deal. There's also the challenge of expectations. Once a team commits major money to a running back, the pressure increases. Walker will now be expected not just to contribute, but to justify the investment by delivering consistent production week after week. Fortunately for the Chiefs, the contract structure suggests they are balancing ambition with caution. A 3-year deal provides enough time for Walker to make a major impact without tying the team to a long-term commitment deep into the future. If he continues to perform at a high level, the contract could ultimately prove to be one of the most valuable offensive additions of the offseason. And if he helps Kansas City capture another championship, the investment will look even smarter. For Walker himself, the move represents a new chapter in a career that has already produced unforgettable moments. Leaving the team where he became a Super Bowl MVP is never easy, but joining a franchise that has become synonymous with winning offers a different kind of opportunity. Now, instead of being the centerpiece of Seattle's offense, he becomes part of one of the most dynamic offensive systems in football. If everything works the way Kansas City hopes, Kenneth Walker III could soon be doing exactly what he did at the end of last season, taking over the biggest games in the NFL and carrying a championship contender toward another title.